carved their winding paths, before the great beasts of the land walked upon the earth, there was only the endless void. The world lay silent, an unshaped realm of potential, waiting to be formed. It was from this silence that Unkulunkulu, the first man, was born. Deep within the heart of a vast and boundless reed bed, the first stirrings of life began. In the dense green tangle of reeds that stretched as far as the eye could see, something extraordinary was taking place. A single reed began to tremble, not from the whispering wind, nor from the crawling creatures that made their home among the stalks, but from the pulse of life itself. From within this reed, Unkulunkulu emerged, blinking against the golden light of a newborn sun. He was not created by gods nor shaped by celestial hands. He simply was. As he took his first breath, the world around him remained still, watching, waiting. Unkulunkulu, the first of his kind, was alone. For a time he wandered through the reeds, marveling at the world that lay before him. He touched the earth with his hands and felt its warmth. He gazed at the sky and saw its endless expanse. He listened to the stillness and longed for something more. But in those early days, there was nothing but the reeds and the silence. Owen's loneliness clung to Unkulunkulu like a shadow. He knew he could not be the only one, for what was the purpose of a single being in such a vast world? And so he began to search. As he moved through the reed bed, he noticed more trembling stalks, just as his had once moved. With careful hands, he parted them and found others, emerging as he had, blinking, confused, but undeniably alive. They were his people, the first men and women, born not from gods, but from the earth itself. Unkulunkulu gathered them together and taught them what he had learned. He showed them how to walk upon the earth, how to drink from the rivers, and how to stretch their voices so they might speak. And so the first language was formed, shaped by the wind, through the reeds, and the laughter of new life. But the land was still wild, untamed, and Unkulunkulu knew it must be shaped into a home for his people. He looked upon the ground, and with his hands, he drew the first lines of rivers, carving them so that the waters could flow freely. He lifted the mountains so they might touch the sky. From the depths of the earth, he called forth trees to provide shelter and fruit. The beasts of the world stirred from the soil at his command. He called the great elephant from the dust, shaped the agile antelope from the wind, and breathed life into the fierce lion that would one day rule the plains. Each creature took its place in the world, filling it with movement, sound, and wonder. His people watched in awe, and he in turn taught them how to live among the creatures. He showed them how to hunt with respect, how to gather from the land without greed, and how to honor the great balance of nature. He gifted them fire, the first warmth in the darkness, and taught them how to craft tools from stone and wood. For a time, all was well. The people flourished, spreading across the land, building homes, singing songs to the sky, and dancing in the moonlight. But no paradise lasts forever, and soon a new thing entered the world: fear. One night, a great shadow fell upon the land. The stars flickered, the wind whispered of danger, and the once peaceful animals grew restless. A darkness had awakened, one that Unkulunkulu had not foreseen. From the depths of the earth, a great serpent slithered forth, its body black as the void, its eyes burning like dying embers. This was Unkanyamba, the spirit of the storm, a being of chaos and destruction. It coiled around the rivers, causing them to rise and flood the land. It hissed through the trees, tearing them from their roots. The people cried out in terror, for they had never known such destruction. Unkulunkulu knew he must act, for he was the first and the greatest among them. He climbed the highest mountain, standing firm against the howling winds. He called out to Unkanyamba, demanding that it cease its rampage. But the serpent was ancient and powerful, and it did not bow to words alone. It lunged at Unkulunkulu, its jaws wide, seeking to swallow the first man whole. But Unkulunkulu was wise. He grasped the fire he had gifted to his people and thrust it forward, the flames licking at the serpent's skin. Unkanyamba recoiled, shrieking in pain. The battle raged for days, shaking the very foundations of the earth. At last, Unkulunkulu struck the final blow, driving the serpent into the depths of the rivers where it would remain, stirring only when storms called it forth. The waters calmed, the trees ceased their trembling, and the stars shone once more. But the people had learned something new, that the world was not without danger.